Okay.
They don't tell me say recording dey on.
Okay. So now, we are about to go into something deeper a little bit. So for today, we are going to talk about conditional statements. Let me change my screen settings so that you can see everything. Um, screen share entire screen window. Okay, can you see my entire screen now? Can you see my entire screen now?
Yes, yes. You can see a time screen.
Okay, so um, let me create a new file. Call this conditionals. Okay, so now getting started. What is conditional? You have been hearing of conditional if else statement. The whole idea about it is that so far you have been writing Python codes, you have been writing programs, and anytime you hit the wrong button, it will just start executing everything in the script. Let's say print for instance my name is Victor. Okay. So if I run this program now, everything in the program will be executed at once. So now the idea about conditional is that we want to give conditions to our program. Okay, we don't want it to just run everything. That's just the whole idea about condition. So now, talking about if else statement allows us to diversify our code. Let's say now, for instance, we have a condition here. Okay, we have a condition here. So using an if else statement or using conditional, we'll be able to diversify our code. And so using conditionals will allow us to branch our code. By branching our code, you notice that when we are branching our code, you must have whatever we are doing must evaluate to true or false. Let's say for instance, this is our condition. Okay, now under this condition, we have the value of true, and then we have the value for false. Okay, so now given a condition, two things are involved. We need to tell the program what to do. Okay, if that condition is true, else we need to tell the program what to do if that condition is false. So the first way to start about conditional is that number one, you must know operators. Okay, using operators will help us to modify our code better. You cannot give conditions without using operators. So basically it is our operators that will help us to do what? To give conditions. For example, we want to check if we have a particular item in a variable. Let's assume this is a variable and we have items in it. Okay, so now notice that we are going to use the membership condition in. Okay, so now it is this membership condition, this operator here, then using the membership operator alongside with condition, that is what is going to help us to do what? To give conditions to our code. So now going back to Visual Studio Code, okay, that's what I'm using for now. I'm using Visual Studio Code. Let's just talk about some operators in Python. So now we have we have greater than. Okay, so I'll not explain everything, only except the ones that need special explanation. So your greater than is still the same way greater than works. We have less than, comma. Now you notice that when you create a variable, okay, let's say for instance language is equals to Python. Okay, what happened? You are using this equals to symbol here to assign this string Python to language. Okay, so now there's what we call comparison operator. Okay, there's what we call comparison operator. What the comparison operator does is that it compares whatsoever is in the left with whatsoever is in the right. So now going back to our illustration board, let's assume we have two things. We have this box, we have this box. Okay, we want to compare whatsoever is in these two box if they are the same. So the only way we can do that is using the comparison operator, and by using the comparison operator it means using two equals to symbols. Okay, that is two equals to sign. So now we have our language here, Python, and then let's create another variable called project is equals to what? Project is equals to, let's say, open CV. Okay, so now we now want to compare language with project. So let's just print this up, language. Okay, and then project. So if we execute this program now, you will see false. Can you see false here? So can you see false here?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
can
now
see it.
if you check the content of language and project, you notice that Python, even if they are of the same data type strings, is not the same as what as the content of project. So as we are now comparing it together, this this because we are using the comparison operator, and then we are comparing what is in the left to what is in the right. So since it is they are not the same thing, it evaluates to false, and then we are now printing out the result to see. So that is why we have false here. Okay, are you following up to that point? So I can proceed.
Me, I no understand am. What is the comparison there? Wetin we dey compare sef? Chief.
Okay, I'm comparing the content of language with project. Okay, so now the comparison operator. Now, have you seen this two equals to sign here? This equals to sign that is here. Now, let me go back to what I did here. I said, let's say we have two items, two containers, or two variables, or two data types together. Okay, we have this. Okay, and we also have this. We want to check if whatsoever is here, if whatsoever is in this box is the same thing. So a way to check for the two of them is by comparing, okay, using the comparison operator. So pythonically reading this code is that if what is in the x, whatsoever you have in the left is directly the same thing as what is in the right, okay, it will evaluate to true, else it will give us false. Okay, so that is what we did exactly here. Look at language. Look at language
Language is
is Python. Now, what is project?
OpenCV.
OpenCV. Is Python the same thing like OpenCV?
No.
So because I'm comparing these two things together using this comparison operator, that is why I have false here. Okay. Do you now understand why we have false?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So we can see the false we have here, meaning there are two different things. Okay, so now to proceed, we also have arithmetic operators, including the plus, and then we also have minus. So I need to talk about these operators because it is from these operators you are going to use to bring up your conditional expressions. Okay, so we have multiplication, we also have exponentiation. So when I say exponentiation, I means a number multiplied to something. For example, if you want to do 2 raised to power 4, we use this one here. Okay, we also have um division, and then we also have floor division, and then we also have modulo operator. Now this is the these are the basic arithmetic operators we have in Python. Okay, so now let's see how this works one after the other. So now basically we can just have print 2, have print 2 plus 2. That will give us 4. And then print 4 minus 2, which will give us 2. And then we can proceed to print 2 times 2. That is, this is for multiplication. Then we can also have exponentiation. So this exponentiation is used to raise a number to a particular power or index. Let's say we want to do 2 raised to the power of 2. We are going to bring this star 2 times like this, and now add 2 again. So now this is, let's say, raised to the power of. Okay. Now the next one is um division. Let's say 4 divided by 2. Okay. I think I should just comment this division. Then let's continue. Now, let's use 5 slash 2. Now we call this integer or floor division. Then let's do the same thing again. Then 5 modulo 2 modulo.
Modulo will give you the remainder
Yes,
of the
yes,
divi
yes.
after the
Mm-hmm. Let's just call it modulo division. So now these are the basic operators I brought out. So 2 plus 2, that is simple addition, will give us what? 2. Now I'm going to where we have, let's just make this a little bit better. Mhm. Now, going to where we have this this from here, okay, multiplication, that is 2 times 2. This is how to the operator for multiplication. But now let's starting from division, where we have division here, okay. So now 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that is why we have this 2.0 with the terminal, okay. Now you notice that for line 18, if we divide 5 by 2, it will give us a remainder. Do you have any question or you want to say something? Are you following?
No question, no question.
Okay.
Carry on.
Okay, so
Yes.
now notice that if you want to divide 5 by 2, it's supposed to give us a decimal. Okay. So now let me just do like this. Let me add something else so that you can actually see the decimal 5 divided by 2. Mhm. It's supposed to give us a fraction, that is integer and the remainder. But you see that using the integer of floor division is going to give us only the whole number part of that division, and then using the modulo operator, okay, it will just return the remainder. Okay, so now that is
It will
why we
give you
have,
the remainder. What
yes.
about ceiling a
Come
what
again,
about ceiling division?
which one? What about what? I could not hear you.
Did you hear what I asked?
No.
Ceiling division, ceiling. I've come
Ceiling.
across something like that. Or I think is
This integer.
I've come across, I don't know, I can't remember that. I've come
Yeah,
across something.
I understand what they're saying. Stealing division. Stealing division is like you are trying to divide something, but you are going to be getting the floor. Floor now
Okay.
has to do with, let's say I divide something and I have 3.3. Instead of getting 3.3, I'll be getting 3. Then ceiling, if I have something like 3.5, instead of getting 3.5, I'll be getting 4. That's what ceiling division means. All right?
Yes, ceiling division brings it to a whole number. Yeah, hey, now I remember.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It's
So
it's
ceiling,
converted to a
Yes.
whole, yes. Mm.
it ranks it to what, to a whole number. Okay. So now done with
Yeah, that's
the,
it.
To a whole number.
yes. That is the, it ranks the decimal part of it to the nearest whole number. Okay. So now moving on, going to logic operators. Okay. Now when you hear of logic, what comes to your mind? When you hear of logic, what comes to your mind?
And or um more compliments. Compliments.
Okay, they are the, we can't actually see them. Okay, they are used to, how should I even explain, just from the basic idea, okay, you had in school, you understand what and or and not. So talking about and now, the and, anytime you are using and, you must have a condition in the left, and then let's say we have and, you must have a condition in the right now. Okay, so now for this and to work, okay, whatsoever is here, the condition you're having here must evaluate to true, and the condition you're having here must evaluate to true before this logic operator and is going to work. Are you following? So just like saying me and you, that means I'm actually referring to you and me. We must, the conditions we have in the left and the conditions we have in the right must do what? Must evaluate to fall to true before the and operator here is going to actually work. But you notice that using or, okay, when we are using or, at least when we are using or,
If, if any of them is true.
yes, at least whatever you have here must be true. So we are now saying this or this. So now either of the conditions you are giving here must evaluate to true before what we have here, before this or, you the output of or is going to be true. But what about the not operate logic operator? So when you are using the not logic operator, is the not is a unitary, you can refer the not operator as a unitary operator, but the and or as a binary operator. What I'm trying to say is that anytime you are using or anytime you are using and, you must have something in the left and you must have something in the right, and then you are now working with these two conditions. But when you are using what when you are using the not, you don't necessarily need two conditions. Okay, even if you can have your condition nested in a condition, nested as an expression, or you have so many expressions here, what the not does is that it inverts the value. So if this your condition is true, okay, and then you now come and use not, now this not here will make your condition turn to false. Okay, so the not inverts the output, it inverts the condition of what you are getting. Are you following?
We dey follow, we dey follow. I see that knot for it to go through. That knot is going to be the opposite of. You
Yes, yes,
understand?
yes,
Not
yes,
like
it returns the opposite.
not of one. Yes, not of one is zero. Not of zero is one.
Yeah, so in some cases it returns the truth value. So now let's jump into our Visual Studio Code to see how it works. So now let's create a variable called x is equals to 5 now, and then let's give a condition which is what, x greater than 5, okay, and x less than 5. So we can just talk about what we have here.
It is and now, so it's going to give us false.
Okay, because what, the value of x is 5, and then the first condition is x greater than 5. X
I
is not
think
greater than,
both of them. I think both of them will give us true. I think true.
it
I
won't
think
give
both of
us true. Okay, let me change it, let me change this to 6. For clarity. Now you see that x, the value of x here, the value of x here is 6, and then you are now coming to say, is x greater than 5? X is greater than 5, but x, then this other condition is what, x is less than 5. This one is false because 6 is greater than 5. Okay, so if we now run this program, we are going to have what, we are going to have false. Okay, because one of these condition is not true. X is greater, the first one here we had x is greater than 5, which is true because 6 is greater than 5. And then this one, the condition is x is less than 5, but
false.
in the real sense x is not less than 5. Okay, now let's do another one for, okay, let's do another one for the or. Control C, okay, and change this to or. So now, from your imagination, you realize that this is going to give us true
It will
because,
give us true.
yeah,
It will
because
give
one
us
of the
true.
condition is true. Okay,
Aye.
Remember what I explained? Because one of the condition is true, x is greater than 5. Now, since we know that this is giving us true, okay? Since we know that this is giving us true, if we now want to get the opposite of what we have, we now have the not here. So now, this not will return the inverted value of what we are supposed to get. Okay. So remember that in this condition here, it evaluates to true. And then we are now saying print not true. So if something is not true, is what? Is false. That's why we have false. Can you relate up to this point? Do you have any question so that we can proceed?
No, I think no, I think yes. I think yeah. From what I understand,
Uh,
the brackets, the inner brackets, the inner brackets is true, right? So when you now say not true, it will give us false. Yes, you are right.
yes, yeah, because I just copied what we had on line 25 to 26, which is true.
Yes, because
And then,
mm,
so we are now saying
yes.
print not true, which is going to return false. And then, now we are done with logic operator. Let's talk about membership operator. Think this is membership operator. So now, let me correct membership operator. Okay. So now, what membership operator does is that you are just using to check if it is a member of a particular data class or data type. Let's say for instance, we have a basket. Okay. This basket contains many fruits like oranges, pear, apple, pineapple, and different kinds of fruit. So now we are now saying if orange in basket. Okay. So now what we are doing here is because we are using this membership operator in, we now want to check if this fruit is in basket. Okay. So now, using the membership operator, if what we are looking for is actually here, it will give us true. Okay. But if it is not here, it will give us false. So now let's assume we have a string, and then that string contains be it any data type or a dictionary, even a list. Okay. Let's assume we have a list, a dictionary, and then we are looking for an item. Okay. So now let's assume we have a variable called name is equals to what? Let's say a. Okay. So you now want to say m. We are now saying m in name. Okay. So now, if what we have here is available in name, that is, now if m is here, and if this m is in this name here, which is the value we are checking for, if the value of m is available in n, so the whole of this block of code, this condition, will evaluate to true. Okay. But if it is not there, it will evaluate to false. So the membership operator is used to check if a particular variable or a data or any input is available, is part, or let me say is a member of a particular data type or data structure or data class. So now let's say let's have um you can have something like car list. Okay. And then this car list, we have Honda, we have to we have Toyota, we have um Tesla. Okay, so now let's check using the membership operator. Let's check. Let's just print. What are we checking for? Honda in, sorry, this syntax is wrong. Honda in car list. Okay, let's just keep guess it's correct so that you can have everything. Let's just print something to differentiate what we have. Okay. Okay, so I now want to differentiate what we have been printing before and what we are doing now. So under in car list. So you can see our tree here. Okay, so we can see our tree here. I hope you now understand why we have tree here, because we are using the membership operator to actually check for what we have in this data structure or in this list. Now we have known how to write conditions. We have now known how to do what, how to formulate expressions and conditions for your code. Okay, so now you notice that with these operators, look at this condition, we can apply these condition operators to formulate real conditionals. Okay, then we can also use, we can combine all these operators, that is membership operator, we can combine it with the logic operator, and then we can also use it with arithmetic operators. Okay, so now having this basic knowledge of using these operators, okay, we can now use it to write our conditional statement. And then writing our conditional, that will take us fully into conditional statement. That is talking about conditional statement, I mean if, else if, and else keyword. Okay, so now formulating conditional statements, the basic syntax is, let me explain how conditional statements work. Now let's look at it this way. We have if, we have we have else if, but that is the full pronunciation of this word now is else if. Then we have else. Okay, so now this if, just like the name implies, this if is used to check if a condition is true. Okay, so now if that condition is true, whatsoever you have under this if block will be executed. Okay, but if it is not true, it will jump to the next one. Okay, before going to else, if you have an else if statement there, it will jump to this one to check the condition. Now if what you have in this elif block is not true, and then it goes through all the condition you have, it will now jump to the else block. Okay, so now if you cannot have you cannot, if it depending on what you are writing, you cannot have an if statement with an if statement at the same time. Now you can have an if statement nested in an if statement, but checking for particular condition, you cannot have if statement as part of already made if statement. Okay, so instead of, since you already have this if statement here, another way to check for another condition inside the if block is using this elif statement. Okay, so now this elif is basically the syntax for else if. So when you have checked for if, Now you want to check for the next condition, you can use else if, meaning that if this block of code has evaluated to false and the condition you have given to it is not true, you can continue to do what? You can continue to check for what we have here. Now you can, since I said you can only have one if statement in a particular block condition.
Excuse me, please.
Okay.
Can you kindly recap? Please, can you kindly recap about?
About if and elif statement.
Yes, from the beginning. From beginning.
Oh my god. Okay, so I was saying that, am I too fast or you're not understanding?
No,
Okay, so
I got lost in one of those. I got lost in one of these aspects that I'm trying to understand, which is the between the if and the elif.
okay, let's take it one after the other. So now I was saying that to formulate you talking about conditionals. Let's assume, okay, the basic syntax for condition is the if keyword. Okay, after the if keyword we have your conditional expression, we have your conditional expression. Okay, so now when once you use if, just like the name implies, followed by column, if this condition here is true, the whole of this if block will evaluate to true. Okay, and then what should happen if this block of code is true? You are going to define it under here. Okay, so now if this block of code using the if keyword evaluates to true, whatsoever you have here is going to be executed. Now I was saying that you cannot have two if what, you cannot have two if statements under the same condition. Either you have another if statement out of this condition, or you know that this is checking for something else, and then in your code again you have another if condition, or inside this if condition you have another if condition. That is what we call nested if condition. Now until this first outer condition is true, that is when you are now going to enter the second one here, and let's assume we had another one, you are now going to enter that one. So now what if we want to check for many conditions? Okay, that will take us to what we know as what, else if keyword. And by else if keyword I mean the elif keyword. Okay, so if you want to check for multiple condition, the first must be an if, the second one is else if, meaning that after checking for this one condition, the program will continue and then it will check for this one. Now you can have as many elif condition in your program. Then now when none of this condition is met, you can now use the else block. You can use the, are you still there?
Yes, I'm active now. I'm still active.
Okay, so now we can use this else block to define what will happen when none of this condition is true. Okay, I think you understand better when we go into implementation. Okay, so now we have our if keyword. Okay, so what is our condition? If 5, let's look at something moderate. Okay, so now let's say if Honda, okay, if Honda in car list, what should happen? Print This is my favorite. This is my favorite car. Okay, let me just run this. So you can see here, this is my favorite car. Okay, you can see we have here, this is my favorite car, because what was the condition we gave it? Honda in car list. And because Honda is in car list, okay, this block of code evaluates to true. That is, now this condition evaluates to true, and then whatsoever we have here will evaluate, will be executed. Now we cannot have an if statement as part of this first if statement we have here, only except we are checking for a different thing entirely. So now you see here that you want to have more than one condition, and to this, so you use the elif keyword. When we use the elif keyword, this elif keyword is still part of this condition, the whole of this block we have here, the whole of this condition. So we are now saying elif what? Toyota. So Toyota, Toyota in is what should happen. Notice my syntax very well. I have my column and then it's indented to the right. What should happen? Print I don't really like I don't really like Toyota. Okay. So now we can also move on to give it another condition using the elif keyword. And let's say Tesla, Tesla in car list. What should happen? You just want the program to print my favorite favorite car is that of Tesla. Okay. Then what should happen? So what should happen when all this condition is not met? That is when you introduce our else keyword. Okay. So you can say else. What should happen? Notice that when I'm using this else keyword, okay, when I'm using this else keyword, I'm going to proceed in the next line. This is the basic syntax for when writing the else statement. So else, what should happen? Print get me a better car. Get me a better car. So now let's execute this program. Okay. So I hope you now understand um we now understand talking about if, elif, and else statement. Now you notice that here we only have
Excuse me, sir. Please, can you
okay,
go back to your code? I want to see something. I'm not talking about the elif. I'm talking about the first one for the card list.
okay. Can you see it now?
Yes, I can see it
Okay, so let
again.
me correct this. This is not the correct spelling of Tesla. What I had in my list. Okay. So now there's something you must note about if and else if statement. If the condition you are giving it evaluates to true, okay, If the condition you are giving it evaluates to true, what will happen? The else block will not be
will
executed.
give the negative
Come again, what did you say? I could not hear you.
false.
What did you say? I could
I
not.
mean, like the else will give you the negative one if
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like
So,
I mean, the use of the else will give us the negative one.
yes, until all the condition we have here, especially this if condition is false, that is, we don't have under here, we don't have
Mm.
um we don't have Toyota there, and then we don't have Tesla there. That is when this one is going to run. So we are now saying if this ones is not the conditions I've given here is not true, else execute this block of code. Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
So now going back to, let me just illustrate something about if else statement. Okay. So now basically what happens is that when you are giving your condition, now let's look at it this way. You have given your condition. Okay. Now this is your conditional expression using an if statement. Your program branches. Now this side is for true, while this side is for false. So now inside this your true, and we have false. Now if this condition is true, okay, if this condition is true, whatsoever you have in this true block like this is what is going to be executed. Okay. Now but if that condition is false, okay, if that condition is false, now let's have another arrow here, and then call this one else, then call this else. Okay. So now this else block will be executed. Now you can have more than one condition. So now if this condition going back to this first condition we gave, if this true condition evaluates to true, and then we now come and have another condition here, and then the condition is not met, this one now, this side that is false, you still go back to the else. Okay. It will still evaluate to true to false. Then this side that is true here will now be executed. So just look at if else conditional as a very big tree for branching your code. Okay. Job. So I think this explains very well what I mean by conditional. I'm talking about if else statement. Do you have any question? Are you following up to this point? Before I'll solve the final example, and then can end the class for now. Are you following?
Actually, I'm the only person that is following. The rest have left.
The rest left.
Yes.
Okay. So let's write a program to check if what. Now let's say we want to, oh shit, my laptop is low. Now let's say we want to write a program to check if somebody is qualified. Okay. If somebody is qualified, now for the person to be qualified, the person must do what? Must be a male, and is what? And must be up to 18 years. Okay. The person must be up to 18, and then up to 18 and they must be a male. So what do you think, or how do you think that is going to be?
So
Can you
what's the
hear?
question? I mean, what's the question? Yeah, I
Okay,
can
I
hear
said
you.
that we want to write a program to check if a particular candidate is qualified for a job position, and then to check for that job position. Now, the only way
Hmm.
the person can be qualified is that if the person is what? If the person is a male and the age is above 18. Okay, so now let's do it this way. Let's create a variable
Um,
called continue.
no, he that's you.
What did you say?
Input. I think yeah, yeah, input. You have to input the name. Then
Uh-huh.
after that, he will input his age. Here, it input int age. Enter your age. Yeah, sorry, not input is age. Is int input age. I mean, sorry.
No problem. Mm-hmm.
And you now enter his gender. Input gender. Enter your gender.
Okay. Now, the condition should be what? If age is
If age
greater than.
is and
Okay. Are you following what I'm doing?
yeah, I'm following. Int dot on name the font.
Okay, so can you see my screen very well?
Yes, I can see.
Do you understand this condition here?
I don't understand the line 49 to 52.
Now, the condition we are given here is that if age is greater than 18. Mm-hmm. So now remember, age is, we are getting a
Mhm.
number. Notice, and we are saying if age is greater than 18 and gender is what? Is equals to male. Remember
Male.
when we do the comparison operator here.
Yes.
Remember, so if gender is equals to male and age is greater than 18, then we now print dear, now format the person's name. Congratulations, you are eligible for this role. Else print come back next time. Are you clear now?
Yes.
Okay. So now we can just run this. Enter your name, Marvel. Enter your age 17. Even if I'm male, can she come back next time? Then let's try it with a different kind of input, sorry. Let's say I'm 19, my gender is male. You can say, dear Victor, congratulations, you are eligible for this role. I following up to this point.
Yeah, I'm following.
Okay, hope you understand about if else statements.
Yes.
Okay. So why did they leave?
Who is it me? Hmm?
I mean others. Okay. But hope you understand what we mean by if else statements and how to use them. Okay.
Uh,
Do you have any question?
The question I wanted to ask, you've already explained it.
Okay.
You know, I used I used to think that nested if is only when to want to make use of when you want to employ three conditions. You understand? I never knew that you can employ more condition as much as possible uh, as long as you be using a elif in the middle of it.
Okay.
So with the use of elif, you can yes. So I thought is you can only use elif when you want to make three conditions. Like if the first condition did not apply, the second condition, which is elif, did not apply, then the else condition will
Mm.
now apply. But
Now, yeah,
I
yeah,
now
yes.
I now I now understand that you can make many conditions as much as possible with nested ifs. So
So now,
I'm good.
can I add another example so that I can use that nested if statement?
Yeah, go ahead.
you can, but I've never read anything about nested if yet.
Nested if is nothing but
Now
having an if statement inside an if statement. Do you understand? That is
that's
just what.
what we are just doing, Abby.
No, we have not done that one yet. We have not. We have I've explained, but we have not done it yet. That's why. Now let's do another program to check for. Let's say shipping charges. Okay. Now let's create a variable called total. Total underscore cost. Also integer input. Enter the total cost of your order.
Shipping charges. Who?
Sorry, what? Oh, um, my sentence is wrong, Abby.
No, 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 no.
No, what were you about saying?
No, I was thinking whether it was a new thing that in coding. I was thinking whether it was a new thing in code. I was like, wait, I was
Okay,
just I was just being some surprised.
okay. Enter the total. Now let's look at it this way. You want to check if the person is from Nigeria. We now ask the person in question. Okay, if the person is from Lagos or Akwa Ibom, we will give the person what? Free delivery. Okay. So now let's call a variable called country equals to input. Country. But let's just write something like specify your country. Now let's say if country is equals to what? Nigeria. Mhm. And total cost is less than $100. What should happen? Let's create another variable called delivery is equals to input, which which state are you ordering from? Now you now notice that now here you now have another if statement inside this if statement. So you now have delivery if delivery is equals to what? Uyo or delivery equals to Lagos. What should happen? Print what you are qualified for free delivery. You can have an else statement here to back up this inner if statement here. So that we can print try to come to Nigeria next time. And then we can still come out of this one going back to the bigger else statement. What should happen? Let's print your shipping fee is $200. Okay, so now if we check this code, you see that we have an if statement inside an if statement. This is the if statement we have inside this one if statement. Now, having two if statements is different from having an elif statement. Okay, this is entirely a different block. I can also this is what have other if statements inside this if statement. So basically, this is what we mean by what nested if else statement. So now, if I comment this, if I comment this and block, if I comment this and run this line of code, okay, you see here, enter the total cost of your order. Let's say, what was the condition here? 100. Let's say something like 85. Specify your country, Nigeria. So now I've written that because we are from Nigeria, because this condition evaluates to true, we are now entering the inner if statement. Now I can proceed to say you, okay, you can see you are qualified for free delivery. Had it been this condition was not true, you would have printed try to come to Nigeria next time. Or no, sorry, let me just do that. Enter the total cost of your order. Let me see is 85. Specify your country, Nigeria. Which state are you from? Oyo. Try to come to Nigeria next time. Okay, so basically this is using a nested if else statement, using an if statement inside an if statement. You following? Or are you clarified? Do you have any question? So are we followed up to that point? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, do you understand what I just did here?
Mm, yeah, I understand. I understand. But I want to ask one question.
Okay.
It's about the use of the if. It's about the use of the if in
Mm.
why is it that the if it's why is it that the if is already adjusted? Why is it that it's not on the same line with the other if?
Now,
Especially for the same thing as the else.
Cool.
so now,
Okay, is it that the if of the line 57 is to be at okay, I'm sorry
continue.
to finish. Okay. Is it that the if of line 57 has to be with the same of the else? So also for the if of line 50. Hello?
What did you say?
Now I was asking about about the if and the else
Okay.
statements.
Mm-hmm. So now, this
I was saying that if the if
okay. So now, this if statement here. Let's do like this. is part of
Mm-hmm.
country. Let me just take this out now. Have you now seen which country is it? Let me show you some. Let me do something here. So have you now seen the normal if and else statement?
Yes.
So now this if is working with this else, okay? So now inside this if condition, meaning that if this is true,
Yeah.
we are now having another condition, and then this condition is like under this one, and this one has its own else too, okay? So until this outer if statement is evaluated to true, that is when this second if statement is going to be executed, because it is actually under the outer if statement.
Okay.
Okay, have I answered the question?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I think we'll just stop there for today. Okay, so just try out so what so many things, practice what you can so that you can understand this concept very well.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So good night everyone.
Next.
mm, Recording in progress. When do I want to stop this thing? Okay.